He's the Teflon Don, man. You the Teflon Don, right?
You know, because you know the street life. You know, it's really unfortunate. It's really a sad thing. You know, we smile and we make the best of it is because that's what we live in. That's what it is. But where I come from, the realest dudes, the best dudes, the dudes who took care of the whole hood, the whole city. If your report card was good, they looked out for you. Those are the dudes that when they got incarcerated, all the other dudes came out and told on. You know what I'm saying? So when I be speaking to things in my music, like, if you're not, I try to open that door for you, but, a lot of people ain't even, that deep with it.
Yeah. You also, a lot of this album, you referenced Kenneth Boobie Williams. I know he played a major part in your life.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that and why, at this point, to reference him so much and what did he truly mean to your life?
That was, one of the first dudes from my community that believed in me. Studios, it was no home studios then. It was none of that. You had to go to Studio Center, $155 an hour, for the C room. The engineer was another $55. So, being young and chasing a dream, right? That was most definitely out of the question. But, if you were serious about your craft, he was the one that would pay for your studio time and make sure somebody got you to the studios. So, me coming up where I came from and, me being around the people I've always been around and seeing and hearing the things I've always seen and heard, that's why I've always spoke of street things and, and coming from me, in Miami, it's so official, and everybody else that catch on to it, you know what I mean? It is what it is, because the homies that I grew up looking at, these dudes gone, 3 life sentences, 2 life sentences, which is nothing to glorify, which is another reason I chased, my dream even harder. These dudes looked out for me. Wayne Parker, one of the best, one of the nicest dudes I ever met, never been arrested. As soon as he got indicted, he was sentenced to 40 years. You know what I'm saying? 80 people testified on him, you know what I mean? My good friend, Kenneth Williams, he was featured on America's Most Wanted, you know what I mean? People testified for almost 2 years. And these the dudes that looked out. These the dudes that took care of everybody. So, if you coming from that lifestyle, you look at things and, people are a lot different than just on the surface.
I know on Rich's Gangster, you had a line I wanted to ask you about. You said, Feds tore apart the squad, nigga. That's why I had to play the part, nigga. That wasn't me. It was a job, nigga. It gets deeper. That was just a start, nigga.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? In that
I'm talking about me being a former corrections officer, me doing, certain things, just to, play my part, which is never been nothing I'm ashamed of.
Yeah.
Because if we a team and, this what we doing, it's whatever, homie. This what we got to do.
But back to the music, man. Like, what I also love, too, is I felt like with Teflon Don, you dropped this album, another great album and stuff like that, and then you dropped the Ashes right away, and you just kept going, and the next thing you knew, you looked up, and you was like solely putting MMG together, and what I thought was interesting about is that you felt part of it, and I think that I always say with you, I feel like you've adapted really well to this age of like internet and social media, and like I felt like you was, you about to sign Wale, you about to sign Meek Mill, and all of this was playing out in front of all of us, Pill and all these guys coming down with the crew. Like, talk a little about that era of when you felt like you was in a zone and you just was really starting to really take the label serious and like put these artists together.
I had just released Teflon Don, and I knew I was in a space creatively. To be around or be in a room with, upwards towards 10, I just wanted to make music. I just want to do choruses, And one day, in one session, I've recorded 17 records. In one day, I done sat in the studio and did 17 records, because when I'm in a zone or straight vibe, it just to come out me. So I wanted to be in a position where I could be in a room full of artists and just bounce from artist to artist, and we all doing different things. We all making different types of music. I could walk over to Stallion and get a certain vibe or energy. I could go to Meek. I could go to Gunplay. You know what I mean? And that was just the energy that I wanted to create, you know, with Double MG.
Well, it started with Wale though, right? Like,
Most definitely.
How did you get Wale? Because the other labels were trying to holler at Wale too at that time too. Like, what were the talks with Wale, and why do you think Wale decided to align himself with you and join MMG?
I believe it fall back on, you know, having that personal relationship. You know, and I think that's always going to be a pro. You know, when the CEO or the, you know, who's running the label or, you know, who's in charge is an artist as well.
Kind of like the Jay-Z thing we were talking about earlier.
Right. Once again, you know, and that's just us, you know, sitting down in the studio, leaving the studio in the middle of the night, going to King of Diamonds, leaving King of Diamonds, going to Tootsie's.
King of Diamonds wasn't good enough? They hit Tootsie's too?
No, they got the grilled lobster over there.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting for some food references.
Yeah. You know I'm going to give you those.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. I remember some interview, Charlamagne was like, you should make an audio cookbook because nobody describes food the way you do. He was like,
yeah. I'm one of the greatest ever. I'm one of the greatest ever.
What you had for dinner last night, bro?
Marbleized. The marbleized ribeye.
What about the side dish? What was on the side, my G?
You know, it may have been some asparagus.
It's amazing, right? I tell you, the audio cookbook. Where's Leor, man? We gotta get this popping, man.
Leor, we need that audio cookbook. You know, I need that seared salmon tonight.
No, what's the other one you said? Parmesan capers or something like that? You said with the wings, right? The lemon pepper wings, and what's the side dish on the wings?
Oh, yeah, you know I got to get those Parmesan gliders as well.
Yeah, what the hell is that? What's a Parmesan
glider? Listen, man, go to Wingstop, man. Go to Wingstop, man. Take some time out of your day, man, and just treat yourself, baby. You deserve it, baby. You yellow mayonnaise, baby.
Finally get to that level. Baby. All right, I'm going to get to that level.
You looking good out here, baby.
All right, so you and Wale, I've lost where I was, but Wale, you're at Tootsie's. So you come back just to hang with him and understand the vision, understand your commitment. Because it's hard to get that first person to be like, okay, I see this guy's like, he's capable of being a CEO. Like, he's really going to be there for me.
And being a CEO, it means that much more to you. You go that much more harder when a dude believe in you. You know, I take that personal. You believe in me, okay. I'm a ride. I don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that was just my whole, that was just my whole attitude. And that's what me and Wale did. We just went back and forth from studio to this and that. And, you know, I just came to realize real quick how passionate dude is. You know, I see what it is. You know, dude, you know, he speaks his mind. He's a passionate artist. I love this. He's a star. He gonna sell it, man. And, you know, just because his drive and how much he loved what he do. And, you know, I respect him so much as an artist for that.
And then he did it. He had great success once he
he delivered a platinum record thanks to you guys this year. Platinum single, most definitely Bad.
So how did you come across Meek Mill, and how did you make that happen? And why was Meek Mill the right move? The next, it was like the big signing, right?
You know, it was real crazy. I had just got on Twitter. I may have been on Twitter for maybe a week. You know what I'm saying? I may have had 20,000 followers or some shit like that. So
he takes his Twitter seriously. I've been in the studio with him. He's Rap Radar, Twitter. He's got a couple of things open. It's serious on Twitter.
I fuck a nigga up by my Twitter. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I was just pulling into Philly, and you know, I just asked, you know, on Twitter who the hot artist in Philly is, and the fucking. Felt like all 20,000 followers said, Meek Mill. So I said, okay, cool. I said, y'all tell them I'm headed to the radio station. Come up there and see me, you know?
Yeah.
So by the time I got to the radio station, shout out to Cosmic Kev. You know, he made sure that Meek got up there. Meek walked through the doors, you know. The homie had those matted up braids at the time. Looked like my dog ain't have his shit done in 5 months. But, you know, I had come to find out he was just released, you know, from prison or jail or, you know, whatever you have it. You know, he was just released. And he just wanted to come up there and just take his shots and ask me, you know, about a record. You know, at this time, I got Teflon Don out. You know, I'm doing verses. I'm getting 6 figures a verse, easy. If you got 80, come back when you got the other 20. But when he walked up to me, you know, I'm just looking at him and, you know, the glare in his eyes. He said, man, I got a record called Rose Red. I just got out of jail, man. Would you do it? I got you. Hey, get homie my number. Hit me. Hit me in a week. I got you. You know, and he told me, you know, later on he told me he thought I was just talking or whatever. He hit me in a week, sent me the record. You know, a few hours later, I sent him the verse back. Yeah. You know, that was the beginning of our relationship. But to tell you something real funny was, I told him, you know, we had been talking about some things. I said, I'm ready to fly you down to Miami. Let's get in Miami. Let's chop it up. I clicked over, called my sister. You know, she my underboss. Hey, I got this dude. I'm finna text you his information. I mean, I got a dude get his information and fly him in. The next morning, she called me. Early in the morning. You know, she called me Will, you know, short for William. She said, Will, I fucked up. I made a mistake. I got you the ticket coming back. I'm like, nah. They just picked him up from the airport. She said he came. I'm like, I'm confused. So we look at the itinerary. That's when I realized my name is William Roberts and Meek's name is Robert Williams. You know, I just sat back, man, and when the homie came through, you know, once again, he let his passion in the studio go. You could tell that, you know, I knew he was destined to be something real big.
I know you've done all these self-made compilations. Like, I think people applaud you with that. Like, a lot of artists, it's hard to please everybody. You have so many artists on the shelf. But talk about the importance of that series and sort of, you know, showcasing all your artists in different ways. Like,
you know,
now you're up to like the 3rd compilation on that.
Right. I feel, you know, I take it more personal when, you know, someone signs a deal with me. You know, I take it personal. I feel like you know, you've trusted me with your career. You've trusted me with your dream. So I take it a little more serious, you know. Even for all the years that I knew, you know, now that I look back, I realize I may not have really been ready when I thought I was. You know, I would have still, you know, appreciated, you know, that little love, you know, those features here and there. So that's why I created the self-made vibe, just for everybody that's on the team to get that platform at some time and at some point, you know, whether it's, you know, MTV, you know, the radio stations, the mixtapes, the mix shows, whatever it is. I created those just for everybody that's signed to the team to get that 1 or 2 big looks every year.
I mean, you're a great collaborator. I think that gets underrated too, like your ability to, like, you know, you have great rapport with, like, I think we were saying also, remember you telling me, like, being Mastermind, like, you one of the few artists that you're cool with a Jay, you're cool with a Birdman, you know, you make these records with Lil Wayne or Kanye. Like, what do you think it is that you know, makes those collaborations work? Even now you have The Weeknd on your album. Like, you know, it's kind of a little atypical, the directions and the songs you're making. Like, why do you think you have this ability to connect so well with different artists?
I think that comes back to, you know, just the person who I am. Yeah. You know, I think a lot of, you know, I tell, you know, most definitely everybody on my team, you know, you're not a man until the day you accept no one owes you nothing. You know, I feel like if you walk around feeling, you know, somebody owe you something, you ain't gonna never make it, man. Don't nobody owe me shit, I gotta go get it. That's my attitude. So my spirit and my attitude, I'm able to be around dudes that's a lot more wealthier than me. And, you know, I don't have any envy of that. I don't envy another man. I never, you know, when it was Christmas time and I was a kid and, you know, I had to settle for that silver hawk that was $59.99 and you got the Mongoose. I didn't envy that. If you had mags on your GT, I didn't envy that. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, that's one of my biggest assets, is be able to be around people who may have the hot record right now. Yeah. You may have the big tour right now, and what you ain't got to worry about from Rose is, you know, no shade, man. Anything I'm going to tell you is, you know, the advice I'm going to give myself.
No, definitely. I mean, let's talk about Sanctified. That's a real strong record.
Right.
Speaking of which, I think your relationship with Kanye is very unique in the history of you guys. Talk a little bit about that.
You know, me and Kanye met, you know, at a very early stage of him producing. You know, I was just writing for different artists. And I actually was ghostwriting for artists, and he was producing for the artist when we first met. This may have been in maybe 03. And, you know, his beats was probably 2,500 then, you know what I'm saying? I should have bought all them motherfuckers. But you know, we was sitting there, and you know, in between this artist taking takes and all this other shit.
Too many takes, Rose?
Yeah. Niggas ain't hungry. You know, but the whole time, you know, me and Kanye sitting there, we don't really know each other. We don't really know, you know, each other's background and no shit like that. We just sitting there in between, you know, the records, and, you know, he'll start hitting his keyboard and playing beats, and, you know, I'm listening to the beats, and, you know, I could kind of see he an arrogant nigga like I am, you know. You gotta love that shit. So I'm like, yo, you know, so we just start talking about different things, and, you know, we had our first cypher, you know, and, you know, we both, you know, may have traded verses back and forth, him just playing beats, And, you know, this went on for, you know, for however long, you know, we was working with this particular artist. And it just kind of spilled over, you know. We was on a, you know, different video sets, so on and so forth. So, you know, we had got pretty cool, and, you know, we had actually discussed him executive producing my whole first project. We had actually discussed that, and around this time was maybe, it may have been 3 weeks before he was in the auto accident when we discussed that. So yeah, once the homie got into the accident, you know, I kind of, you know, fell back and just, you know, was praying for homie. And, you know, it had all took off at that point, you know, from when we first met. Yeah, when we first met, it was one thing, but, you know, we always stayed cool. That relationship was always there.
Because that devil verse, that verse on his album was always, that's one of my favorite Rose verses.
Oh man, that was special. Yeah, that was special.
Shot the video in Toronto. Remember
Yeah. You know, as soon as I landed in Canada, I hit Drake. Drake, send a Maybach for me, man. So if you go back and look at that video, that's me. That's actually Lauren.
The driver he had?
That's Lauren.
Lauren, yeah, right. He had a driver named Lauren.
Right. Yeah. That's Drizzy's personal driver that's driving me. I'm like, man, I'm finna shoot this video, nigga. Drive straight and turn. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you know, the homies, man. We just plugged up, and, you know, Drake sent the Maybach for me, and, you know, I was just riding through in the snow. I shot my little clip. Yeah.
So we talked about Jeezy, Yeezy. Let's talk about Weezy, man. That's another
Most
brother
definitely.
that you have a lot. I remember when I met you, I think for the first, you're like, I have this amazing record with Lil Wayne. And like, even like I'm Not a Star was your record, but then he kind of did a version similar to his album. Like, and you was like, that's my favorite thing. That's like the hardest feature. Like, that's
my shit. Weezy. You know what I mean? Because when Wayne came home, what's the prison he was in?
Rikers Island.
He was in Rikers Island. When he came home, he said, I need something just like I'm Not a Star. I listened to that shit every night they played it, you know what I mean? So everybody that was playing I'm Not a Star in here, he was locked up, you know, listening to it, you know, for the remainder of his time. And when he came home, he was like, I need something with that vibe. And, yo, he sent me the beat that we was on. I say, shit, this it. You know, so we just laced it, yeah.
You guys got a hot streak of joints together. Let's talk about the new one, the Thug Cry, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Shout out to Weezy. You know, we touched, you know, that Thug Cry. You know, we had to sample the Souls. You know, that was
Souls and Mischief.
Most definitely. You know, that was a classic record. You know them. That was just one of them classic records. So, you know, when we you know, touched that joint, you know, that was special. And when Weezy laid that verse, You know, that was Tunchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even you picked up on, speaking of influences, you picked up Jay Dilla on the album too.
Most definitely, most definitely. You know, when I talk about that Maybach sound, I talk about, you know, different sounds, you know, from the sampling to the soulful and everything in between that. And I always felt like, you know, Jay Dilla, man, was one of the greats.
So what do you feel, before we get out of here, like, what do you feel like, I mean, obviously you've been a model consistently, like all your albums have gone gold, like this certain level of success. Do you want more? Do you want to go like be a little more bigger on the pop side? Like, how do you feel like now you're at the point now where you can start to put your career and legacy? Like, how do you view it?
You know, well, you know, me coming in, you know, all I ever knew was street records. All I ever knew was street love, the love I got from making street records. You know, the love I got from making other type of records, you know, it's cool, but the love that I always got, you know, was from making street records. So when I particularly went in, you know, when I go into a project and, you know, Def Jam and my team, and, you know, they do a great job at this, but they understand that, you know, Rose, you know, my goal is to put a timeless body of work together. You know, a lot of dudes be just, let's wait for the single, and when the single fucking catches on, and it's turning there. Fuck that shit, man. Let's make some hard shit. Let's make some dope shit that the streets want, and let's give it to them in the way they never got it. So, you know, so when I sit down with my marketing team, with my Maybach team, with, you know, everybody over at Def Jam, you know, they know now, like, when we sit down and I'm like, yeah, so I'm finna get ready to put the album out, you know, they know not to ask, where's the single, Ross? Nigga, the album the single, my name the single, my brand the single, Double MG the single. That's the single. We don't wait for fucking singles to, you know, fuck that shit. Let's do what the real hip-hop niggas did. Let's do what the real rap niggas did. They wasn't tripping on that. They wanted to make something that was timeless. And long as you do that, long as a motherfucker could put that shit in 15 years from now, like I could put Ready to Die in and listen to that production and listen to those rhymes and still say, damn, that's what the fuck you want to do, you know?
So album 7 is going to be harder and darker and shit.
Of course. Of course.
You got an early vision yet on it? Or?
Man, you know, I'm going to just chill for now, man. And, I just, it feels just good to be here. It feels good to be here, you know, and for everybody that support me, man, that's who I think of first. You understand? You think about your supporters. And when you in this game and when you in this rap game, when you on top, it's going to be a lot of motherfuckers that don't agree with you. But I don't give a fuck if you working at FedEx. It's going to be niggas that don't agree with you and try to get you fucking fired, nigga. So the way I approach it, I do it for the people that love what I do. You understand? And if you one of them other people, we sweep your ass to the side. Yeah.
So is that ultimately how you like to be remembered when it's all said and done?
You know, when it's all said and done, you know, he a mastermind. You know, that dude came in the game, man, and built the empire. He opened the doors, you know, and not only gave artists deals and opportunities to actually get on TV, but opportunities to profit. Who the fuck else doing that? I take pride in that. You understand? And you know, the way I approach all my businesses, it's the same way. If it's not mine, I don't want it. If it's mine, I want every motherfucking penny. You understand? So whatever you drop right there, that's yours, baby. You understand? And that's just how I approach having a dozen budgets open at one time and never had a problem. Because Rose good. And, you know, not only do I want you to see your dreams come to fruition, I want you to profit, homie. You know what I mean? We riding big. We eat good. We go to Del Frisco's and the bone hang off the plate. You understand? I ain't finna drop you off the Boston Market and get that shitty spinach dip. I want you to sit at the table with Rose, you know what I mean? And that's just my attitude, you dig? And when you look at the artists, when you look at Wale, when you look at Meek, when you look at Gunplay, when you look at these artists, when you look at Rocky Fresh, and you ask yourself, how do they have endorsement deals? You know, it's different things. It's real love being put into it. It's real time being put into it. It's real passion being put into it. You know, and that's the difference to me. You know.
Do you think your career is going to be judged more also in the context of not just your catalog, but all the other artists that you touched and built through MMG?
I mean, if you're a credible motherfucker, you gotta inhale all that. Yeah. You gotta, you know, if you're looking at, you know, what somebody contributed to the game or what example they made, you gotta take everything in a consideration. You know, from, you know, the music they made, you know, what they brought to the table, you know, artists they opened doors for, you know, what other ventures they opened doors for, what other ventures they created, what other revenue was created, you know? I think as an artist, those are the things you look at, because that's what a label looks at when you're an artist. They want you to create revenue for different things. So when you're an artist and you're an executive and you find other ways to create revenue for yourself as an artist, you winning in a big way.
I want you to keep winning, Rose, for real. Thank you for your time, my G. Rick Ross.
Much love, baby.
Much love. Rose. Good, baby. Good, man. After he's turning on the charm too, man, he's making them laugh, man. He's flipping on the showing the charm side too.
Oh, it's a player inside here, boy. Player inside here now.
And I want to thank you, Rose. It's official now. I can say I did the boss, man, for the Crown Series.
Right. Nigga, you made it, nigga. You made it, nigga. Oh, man, much love. Keep doing your thing, man.
I'll see you
much
soon.
success.
Love. See you soon.